And thank you for tuning in this edition of Hampton Roads Focus. This morning we have special guests in the studio from the Ability Center of Virginia. Their executive director, Michelle Prendergast, who we are going to speak with in just a minute. Dave Kirby, no, just kidding, Dave Kilby, who is the board president. Sorry, Dave, I had to do that. The ladies put me up to it.
Good job. Well executed.
Now, earlier I was looking at Dave's name, and I need new glasses or something, and I thought it said Kirby, and it was actually Kilby, and I apologized to Dave profusely. So I had to mess with him a little bit on the radio. And we also have Tracey Jones, who is a mom of one of the guys in the program. And we're going to speak with her in just a little bit as well. Right now, we're going to go over to Michelle Prendergast, the Executive Director of Ability Center of Hampton Roads. And you're going to tell us what that means, what it is. What is it that you do?
Well, what we do is we provide programs and services to children and adults with disabilities throughout Hampton Roads. So all disabilities. Cerebral palsy, Down syndrome, autism, learning disabilities. We provide programs that emphasize inclusion in the community and help with their independence. And we also try to take care of the family as well. So we have a lot of programs that our folks participate in. We offer a parent support group, which started just a couple months ago, which is fantastic for our parents. It's just an opportunity for them to get together. And we have guest speakers come in, and they can discuss issues that they have been experiencing. And they can also help younger parents who have a newly diagnosed child and kind of show them the ropes a little bit and what worked for them. So it's pretty much what we do in a nutshell.
All right. Yeah, we had about 30 years ago or so, I want to say, the Virginia Beach school system came up with an inclusion program. And that mainstreamed kids with handicaps into regular classes instead of being separated at, like, I think Center for Effective Learning and some other places around town, which, depending on the child, is still appropriate. But for those that could be mainstreamed, and it was just a great experience. I heard nothing but raves from the parents that were involved in that program. And from the kids, because the kids that were in those classes that were absorbing the handicapped kids got as much out of it as the children with the handicaps.
Right. So when I first started...
disabilities rather than handicaps.
Right. So when I first started, we did a Kids on the Block program, and it was a puppet program that went out into schools to teach children about disabilities.
Oh, cool.
And one of the things that I would always tell the kids is that we're all different. Everybody's different.
That's the truth.
And we can learn from people's differences, and that's what makes us a better person. And it teaches us compassion for others. So being around somebody who may be nonverbal or in a wheelchair, you just figure out how to do things differently. And there's no reason why I can't be friends with you and you can't be friends with me, and we can learn from each other. And so I think it's really important, and I'm glad that happened. And we have a summer camp program that is just that. We have young volunteers. Some of them start out when they're 6 and 7 years old, working with our youth. And we kind of train them how to be volunteers at our summer camp. And then the campers, they get paired up, and the volunteers get more out of it than you can imagine. And I don't think they come in knowing how much they're going to get out of it. But by the end of the week, they are changed people. Just something about being around somebody with a disability and seeing how they never give up. They try their best at everything they do, and kind of gives you a good perspective on your own life.
Yeah, it's funny because when I was a youngster, polio was still a thing, and the little girl that lived down the street from me, 2 houses down, had polio and wore braces. And I got to know her, and it's funny because as humans, anybody that's different, we react a little funny. We have pause, and we don't really understand.
Right.
But when you're around someone with a disability, and you spend a little time with them, you realize, oh, we're not different at all. You're in braces, or you're in a wheelchair, or you don't
We
have
like the
motor
same
control. Yeah,
things,
yeah.
you
A
know.
lot of it is, but I'm so grateful for little Sharon because it gave our whole neighborhood a different perspective on someone. And that girl had the strongest arms. She was stronger than any boy
Oh, I
in our
bet.
neighborhood from being on crutches all the time because of her braces.
Right.
But yeah, at first we were freaked out by the braces. And then we got to where we'd help her on the bus and stuff. It was a great experience.
Yeah.
And gosh, that dates way back.
Yeah.
I started to give the year, and I'm like, no, nobody needs to know what year that was. But yeah, and I think that holds true to this day. When you're exposed to people that are different than you, it's a good thing.
Right.
there's
Definitely.
A lot
Definitely
can
is a
be
good
learned
thing.
from everyone.
Yeah.
Now, you were talking about your camp programs.
Right.
When did those take place?
So they take place during summer. We
Uh-huh.
do 6 weeks. We have 2 youth weeks, 2 teen weeks, and 2 adult weeks. And each week has a different theme. We do fun activities. We go on field trips. We're in the community. We go bowling.
Oh,
On
cool.
Friday, we have and Dave and his employees from FinFit, they provide lunch for our campers. They come out and they hang out with our guys and play games. We've done karaoke, all kinds of fun things. So we have great support from our board and the community during our camp. We do a week at the Sandler Center, which is all arts. So we have we put on a performance at the end of the week, and the Sandler Center Foundation supports that, us being there. We had Brad from Push Comedy Theater doing improv this past summer. So that was a blast. And I'll tell you, Brad, I don't know if you know Brad from there, but he reached out to us afterwards, and he said it was one of the most fulfilling things he's ever done. He didn't know what to expect when he came in, and he wasn't sure. We had a lot of campers that were nonverbal and used communication devices to speak, and they got up there and they did it, and I mean, he was just touched and blown away by it. So I always say we're not only making an impact on the folks that we serve, but also the community. When people get to participate with us and get to meet the people that we're serving, there's nothing better than that.
Yeah. And you serve a wide range of folks with disabilities as well.
We do, and I think that's a good thing. And I think that the families that we serve, they like that. Our day program, which meets on Tuesdays and Thursdays, they all have different ranges of disabilities, and that's what makes it a family. They really are a family, and they learn from each other. And the folks that are nonverbal, our folks that are verbal are right there with them every day, talking and helping them along, and it's the beauty of it. We don't want to pigeonhole all one group of disabilities and one group and one another. It's all about being inclusive.
Our guest this morning, I love your name, by the way. It's not the Disability Center. It's the Ability Center of Virginia.
Thank you.
I think that's just very positive and says what you actually do. And that's enable people to show off their abilities.
Yes.
Now, Dave is the board president, Dave Kilby.
There you go.
How did you get involved in this, Dave?
A great question. I think it was more by accident. I had some challenges going on in my own personal life, and I felt it was time to get more involved in the community. And the next thing I know, I had a conversation with our previous executive director, Kathleen, who said that it was necessary for me to prove my worth by heading up a golf committee for the then center.
Oh, come on.
I realized quickly there was going to be more than just participating in a worthy cause. But Michelle talked a little bit about this, and I think that's, what I quickly learned was it was not about what I was giving. It was more about what I was getting, right? Yeah. And I think that's what people miss out a lot of times, that, this idea of partaking in these incredible, people's lives, it gives you so much more than you'll ever give back to them. right? And I think that's the value. Sure, we need resources and we need support and we need strategy.